going to do my master's at some point.
Ah, beautiful, beautiful.
Mm.
Um, Masters. So music is it's not only just a passion, but it's also a career. I mean, studying for music, and here you go doing um, studying and advancing, and I
Yes,
like that you studied jazz.
yes, yes.
So the love for jazz and playing the piano at church, please. I mean, how do the two link?
So so how it started is when I first went for piano lessons. The first 2 years that I went for piano lessons, I started off with classical piano,
Okay.
and my I think my dad was kind of getting frustrated at the fact that, okay, it's been a whole year now. Now it's been 2 years, and you're still not able to play in church. Because the thing
Okay.
with classical piano is that they just teach you how to read music off a score sheet. But
Yeah.
with the church setup, it's more playing by ear. So you listen to whatever is being sung, and then you kind of find your way and fiddle your way around on the piano.
Okay.
So for me, that was something that I had not been taught. It was something that I hadn't been exposed to,
All right.
playing by ear.
Mm.
So while I was continuing with my classical piano lessons, my dad got in touch with a pastor friend of his and asked him to connect him with a music teacher who would be able to teach gospel. So I found a teacher, started going for lessons with him, and that was where now I started getting exposed to gospel music, and he exposed me to jazz as well. And
Ah.
so for me, and then he taught me also just how to practice playing by ear and
Yeah.
listening and
Yeah.
playing by
Yeah.
ear, you know.
All right.
So for me, that was like mind blowing. I was like, wow, I didn't know that something like this exists.
Okay.
So it was really fascinating for me. And then I kind of just kind of got deeper and deeper into that. And I went for my lessons were on a Saturday morning. And
All right.
so every Saturday morning, that was kind of the routine, just getting to learn a gospel song, a church song.
Yeah.
And then I know
Yes.
that, oh, yay, tomorrow at church, I'm going to get to play this song. When they start this song at church, I'm going to know how to hear it and I'm going to know how to play it. So,
Okay.
um, and then being exposed to jazz as well, which was a completely different world for me also, because I had never really been exposed to jazz as well. That
Yeah.
was for me, I was like, wow, this is some really, really nice music, you know. So I guess the connection between the gospel and the jazz just came at a much later stage.
All
But
right.
just being at that early age,
Mm-hmm.
being exposed to the gospel and the jazz at the same time was just, yeah, I don't know, just
Okay.
amazing for me.
Yeah. So it's a wonderful thing that that we have you here on this show, Gospel According to Jazz.
Right,
And
right.
so, talking about that, I noticed, and I know, obviously with my little research, I realized that you actually share some of your music, some of your composition, on a few pages there, especially your Facebook page. You have Lindin Cornello Music,
Yes.
the music page. So please, can we ask you to play one of your? Please share with us some of your songs, one of your songs at this point in time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me start off with a composition of mine that I've titled "Hymn for Them." So I
Ah,
think this is. Can I just give you a short little background of it?
please go ahead.
This is, I think, a perfect merger of the gospel and the jazz.
Yeah.
And this is a song that I wrote for my parents. My dad is now late, but
Oh,
I'm very fortunate that he got to hear this and experience
mm,
it while he was still alive and just get to know what it means to me. And it's just kind of a tune that represents how I feel about them and how they've raised me and the
yes.
principles that they've instilled in me and how they've taught me to be a prayerful person and
Mm,
just appreciative and, kind and loving, all those things. So it's really just a song to appreciate my parents. So like I'm saying, you'll hear the perfect merger between the gospel and the jazz and how they've just kind of come together because uh, the two genres have formed quite a solid background for
yeah.
me. So that they are both very dear to me. So I always like to kind of fiddle around with, okay, let's see how I can take this gospel song and then turn it into, like add jazz elements to it kind of thing. So yeah, this is called Hymn for Them.
We are listening.
Okay.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Lovely rendition indeed. Hey, I love how your fingers move on those keys, eh?
Thank you.
How they glide over those keys. It really shows the training that we've had, on that.
Yeah.
So, talking musically, there's this element of a score. When you talk music, there's a score that you must follow on the keyboard and stuff like that, and there's a timing. Like the song is a 4-pulse measure, and the 3 twos and whatever, and I guess most of the songs in church, those that we play by ear, have a different time measure to them. They have a different. In actual fact, I heard somebody say, I'm just trying to sound clever here. I heard somebody say, it's a 3-pulse. It's nothing that's like on a musical score. When you play by ear in the church, it's simply just a repetition of some. Is it a 3-pulse measure or 2/3 or something like that?
So every single song that we do in church has got a specific time measure, like you're saying, or a time signature. It's not, church songs are not exempt from having a time signature that maybe a pop song would have, or a jazz song would have, or whatever else, So I think with church songs, it's just that the culture and the way that it's just been for generations and generations is that you just listen and you play. But everything that you play in church has got a specific time signature.
Signature, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess it's different from what you find in your normal traditional hymn book, as it were. I mean, the choruses mainly they're different from what you find in a traditional hymn book, as it were. I think there's a difference there.
So if I can maybe let me just play you an example of something that's coming to mind.
Yep.
So. So there's a time signature. Yeah. Sorry. So there's a specific time where if you're playing with a drummer and the drummer is keeping the time. This is your time.
Yeah.
4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So you've just got that pulse that's going throughout the song from start to finish, you know?
Yeah. No, nice. No, beautiful. So do you think, for example, when people play worship songs, before the pastor comes and we playing worship songs, is there room, or maybe during an altar call, or maybe even after the sermon, for jazz in the church? Do you think there is room for jazz in the church? Because I think church music is slightly different from jazz, and yep.
I think it's all about being sensitive to the mood and the atmosphere at that time, and also the atmosphere that you're trying to create for the pastor to come up and minister. So I feel like, yes, there is a certain time where jazz can be brought in the church, but it's really just a matter of being sensitive. If, for instance, you're having an event at church, maybe a couple's gala dinner or something like that, then yes, you can play your jazz. If you're having a youth fundraiser type of thing, then yes, you can play your jazz. But not, I feel, this is really just my personal opinion. I just feel that
understood.
This is not, because your jazz is really more a performance kind of setup. It's not a Holy Spirit come down kind of setup. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to be playing a jazzed up song while we are waiting for the pastor to come up. So it's really just a sensitivity thing. It's really just a sensitivity thing to the atmosphere and the mood and what you are trying to create for the pastor to come and minister.
Okay, so you reckon jazz might in itself take away the limelight onto itself, and not necessarily create an ambience for the message and for the preaching?
I feel so. I feel that way. Yes. Okay. It just has its own timing. Jazz just has its own timing.
Its own timing. Okay. So in other words, if there was no sermon, we can then have just our own church through through jazz.
During the praise and worship session, yeah, I think so. Maybe you could take 1 or 2 songs and kind of jazzify them up, but not the entire praise and worship session. Also, Yeah.
No, I hear you. So tell us about coming from a church background where parents, in the ministry. Your own journey, your own Christian journey, your own Christian journey, especially, I know that you've linked it with music previously, where you said, parents wanted you to play, in the church setting, but you ended up, going out to study and music took you elsewhere. But tell us about your Christian experience through music.
I think for me, having been born into a church background, having been born into a Christian home, I've
Yes.
known no other life. I've known no other path. So this is what has worked for me and is what is still working for me. And I think
Yeah.
also has just helped me to be able to discern. I know you said apart from the music, but uh, uh, this is what has helped me also to kind of discern um, which gigs to do and which gigs to say no to. You
All
know,
right. All right.
there's certain gigs that I don't do. There's certain places that I don't play at. You know, purely because I feel like this is just going to jeopardize my reputation as a Christian, and it's
Okay.
just going to jeopardize my walk with God also.
All right.
So there've been many instances where I think about, okay, if my parents were here and they saw me or they knew that I was going to do a gig like this at a place like this,
Mm.
how would this reflect on them? Because I also, at the end of the day, have to think about how this reflects on me as a person, but also how this reflects on my family and just
Yeah.
my upbringing as a whole, you know. So it's really helped in that sense to just kind of keep me grounded also, and not just want to, yes, fine, I want to get my name out there, yes, I want to be exposed and everything, I want people to know about me, but
Yeah.
at what expense though, you know? So
Mm.
I think about such things, and I say no to certain things, and I say no to certain places, say no to certain performances, say no to certain artists even, purely because of all these things that I'm mentioning.
Now that's very profound. What you've just said, saying no to certain gigs, saying no to I mean, as an artist, then somebody would say, "Are you not jeopardizing yourself? Are you not jeopardizing your own growth in the music industry if you are selective like that? If you are this selective in terms of where to play and when to play and who to play with?"
Yeah, yeah. Look, I feel like if it's meant to be, whatever is meant to be, God will make it happen. If it's not meant for me, I'm still okay with that.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
if for me, somebody asked me to do a gig or somebody asked me to play at a certain place, and I feel deep down, I feel uneasy about it, and I have
yes,
doubts, and I have all these questions about it. Then I'm just like, no, it's not supposed to happen. So whatever is meant for me will
yes.
come to me, but I don't have to bend over backwards just
Yeah.
to kind of get into whatever spaces I'm not supposed to be in.
Now that's profound because then it says principles and principles and principles,
Right,
and
right.
allowing God to lead you in your own life, in your own journey.
Yes, yes.
Because sometimes even those gigs that you decline might be paying more, and
Mm,
yet you still say no to
mm.
them because of the principles that you have.
Right, right, right.
No,
I
that's
have thought
very
about that. I have that has crossed my mind many times, but I don't want to find myself at a place where I've got hundreds of thousands in my bank account, but my soul is just
yeah.
empty. I really don't want that.
So, would you sacrifice church time? In other words, going to church for a gig?
I have once or twice, I have, but it's not something that
Okay, okay.
I make a regular thing of, because
Yeah.
also a lot of people that I work with, they
Mm,
know that on Sundays between say 8 and 12, Lindy is at church. So if you
yeah.
want to book Lindy for a Sunday gig, make sure that it's in the afternoon or in the evening on a Sunday. So I think I'm just fortunate that I work with people who understand that. So when they book me, they know, okay, Lindy, you might need to leave church a bit early, but we're not taking you out of church completely on a Sunday. So maybe we'll
Okay.
need you at about 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning or something, you know. So I'm not completely sacrificing my time at church. I'm simply just, as soon as I'm done playing, then I need to leave. But they understand the importance of my being at church on a Sunday. So I think I'm very fortunate in that regard.
Yeah, no, that's great. Besides, I think also the fact that you have set those parameters, you've set those rules for yourself, and
Yeah.
and you communicate those to whoever wants to book you. I suppose that helps as well. So
Yes,
now let me
yes,
ask you:
definitely.
so when you get to church, don't you find that every Sunday when you get to church, because they know who Lindy is, they expect Lindy to come and play the piano?
It's kind of a given because I mean, they already know when I'm at church what I'm there for. So as
Okay.
soon as I arrive at church, I just go straight to the front and sit down at the keyboard.
Okay.
It's kind of a given.
Okay. All right. So when you're not there, they know, Lindy's not here.
Yeah, yeah, they do.
So, uh, tomorrow when you go to church, which song are you going to play? Can you play that? Can you play us another song? One of those that you're going to be playing tomorrow at church?
Oh shucks, let me think. I need to. I'm not sure of the repertoire. I do have the repertoire for tomorrow, but it's just slightly
Okay.
slipped my mind
It's
now.
okay. Just play us a song now. We would like to see those magical fingers there and listen to the sound that comes from them.
Okay, I'm gonna play an arrangement of a popular hymn, and
Okay.
when I'm done playing, I'll ask you if you recognized what hymn it is.
Oh, okay. In actual fact, let's involve the listeners and the viewers to say, let them tell us, yeah, let them write and tell us which, if they can recognize the song that you play.
Okay,
Okay,
perfect.
great, sure.
Okay. Uh,
I can definitely tell the song. In actual fact, I almost sang with you. Okay, and so let's wait a bit and see from the response of the listeners and the viewers.
okay.
Can you tell the song? Can you tell the song, please? Hit us up. Yay! We see you, we see you, we see you, Sasa. There you go. And she says, Grace Brownie Macheta says,
Oh, I know. Oh, Grace. That's a friend of mine. Grace is a friend of mine.
oh, he's a friend of yours.
Yes, yes.
Okay, Grace. Thank you for showing love. Thank you for showing love. And I can see you've also been sending emojis, Grace. Yeah, Grace has also sent an emoji, a love one there. Or Mama G sends love to you. Gabisile Mama G
Oh,
sends love. And wait. Yeah. Zamo and Lucky Mutlaping, they sent love to you as well.
oh, thank
And
you.
Asanto there says amazing grace, amazing grace. So yes,
Correct,
definitely noticed,
correct. Yeah.
you could identify the song there. Yes, and a beautiful arrangement, a wonderful
Oh,
arrangement that you just did, and we are grateful for that. Thanks to
thank
that,
you,
Lindy.
thank you.
So Lindy, um, now what you said earlier, just before you played the song, was very profound in terms of principles, knowing who you are, knowing where you
Right,
come, knowing what you stand for. And
right.
in this crazy world where everybody's rushing to make ends meet, to make money, for fame, for all of those things, we
Mhm,
somehow
mhm.
compromise, we somehow forget our own principles and where we come from. And I think it is quite encouraging and great to notice that you still have people, artists like yourself, who are still um, principled, who'd stick to their principles, who'd stick to their own values, and actually communicate those and share those even through their walk in life.
Right.
So what would you say then to a young person who's just graduated, a young person who has just joined a band, a young person who has just started out in some form of a career, or has just found a little bit of fame, maybe a soccer star, maybe in a modeling industry, maybe in the world of work, or somebody, an artist an artist, as it were. What would you say to such a young person about principles and values and those and such things?
Right. I think that one should never forget how they were raised. I'd like to think that parents instill a certain set of principles, a certain set of values in a child from when they are kids, and then they grow up knowing those values and principles. And so I think that it's important to not forget those principles purely just because you're now seeing a few thousands in your bank account. I think that your conscience also will always be knocking at your heart, at your mind, whatever, but your conscience will always tell you if something is not right and if something is not meant to happen for you.
Yeah.
And I think that it's important to not ignore when you feel that your conscience is saying something to you, when you feel uneasy about the way in which you are getting money, or the way in which people are approaching you to expose you to fame and to money and to popularity and all of that stuff. I think it's important to not ignore the conscience, that whatever your conscience is telling you about that, if you feel uneasy about it, if you feel uncomfortable about it, don't ignore it. Don't ignore it.
No, great. A powerful message indeed. Do not ignore your conscience. Do not ignore your principles, the values that you are brought up with. That's very profound and very beautiful. So tell us about some of the. You are great yourself in your own right, but tell us about some of the artists that you've performed and worked with. I think young people out there listening, watching, and would like to know some of the greats. I mentioned Afro Cafe earlier on, but I think they still want to know more about your work in the limelight.
Right. Sure, I've worked with quite a few people. My very first time working with, I'd say, celebrities was back in, I think, around 2010 or 2011, when I worked with Swazi, Dlamini, and Tshepo Mngoma. So Swazi was releasing a gospel meets jazz album. So I wrote two of the songs on that album, and I co-wrote one of the songs with a friend of mine, Lebu. And so that was my first taste of okay, cool, I get to work with a celebrity. That was my first time sort of getting exposed to that. And then a few years down the line, Tshepo Mngoma also did an album, so I composed something for that album as well. And then I've worked with Brenda Mtambo, I've worked with Sipho Gazi, I've worked with Joe Nina, which was quite a thing for me because I've always been the biggest fan of Joe Nina. So getting to work with him was really quite an honor for me. I've worked with Thandiswa Mazwai also. I'm currently working with Buhlebendalo Mda from The Soil. Some names I think have escaped me, but I've worked with.
But when you're saying Buhlebendalo from The Soil, I thought they were simply an a cappella. Or are you writing songs for them? Or
so she's gone solo. She's gone solo right now. So so she's got her own band. She's got her own project going on.
hear you. I hear you. So out of all those, which one stood out for you? The performance that stood out for you, that where you said, you know what, if this, this was my best.
I think I'd have to say Joe Nina,
Oh,
which was quite recent. It was in November last year.
okay.
Yeah, it was quite recent. I think for me that was like the highlight of my musical career.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And okay, we're having this conversation, and I mean, I'm enjoying the pearls of wisdom that come from you. I forget that you still have to play music for us. And I keep being reminded that let her play. So do you want to song for us?
Say that again.
Yep, please play one more song for us.
Okay, one more song. All right, let's see if you recognize this one also.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Another challenge to our listeners and to our viewers. Another challenge. Let's see if you recognize this song that she's going to play for us.
All right.
So, yay! You really have magical fingers, I should tell you. And obviously our listeners and our viewers have been saying, or they've told us already, Jesus loves me. Beautiful rendition, beautiful. We love that jazzy feel of that song, and we love how you play the piano. I mean, indeed. So let me ask you. So a young person wanting to start out and play piano, what do you say to that young person? How would you motivate that young person? Because I've heard the stories. No, it's too hard to understand. Getting the left and the right hand to play together, and all of that. What would you say?
Look, I think it's not easy, but it's not impossible also.
Okay.
If you go in and you are determined to be disciplined, you are determined to be committed.
Yeah.
Because those are the two things that you are definitely going to need. You need to be disciplined, discipline yourself to put in the time to practice every single day. You have to practice every single day. You can't practice on Monday, and then the next time you see the keyboard will be on Saturday, and
Mm,
then the following week maybe, oh, you're making excuses and you're busy the whole week. It needs to
yeah,
be a consistency thing, because the more consistent you are, the more it's going to become easier, and then more you're going to understand it. And if you're
definitely.
committed to it also,
Mm,
then it's not going to be as difficult as people will make you believe it to be. So yes, the whole left and right thing is a bit tricky, but the consistency will help you get the
yeah,
hang of it. So I really
yeah,
feel that a lot of kids, and I mean, even at the school where I teach, I have a lot of kids who will see me play the piano, and they'll say, "Ma'am, I want to learn the piano," and then they'll
mm,
come for one lesson, they'll come for two lessons, and then after that they've disappeared, because they
yeah,
don't understand that you need to start at the very, very, very basics. So you're not
yes.
going to start off playing the way that
Mm,
the way that you saw me playing, and that
yeah,
made you wish that you could play the piano. So I think a lot of them underestimate just how much work and how much effort needs to go into learning
you-
an instrument. You know,
excellent, excellent. No,
so just
beautiful.
that discipline, and the commitment. Really,
Yeah.
those are the two biggies.
Okay, and I think also maybe the love for the instrument as well.
Of
You
course.
would also play, a part in there, because then it would keep you motivated. It would keep you, coming back for the lessons
Yes. Yes.
and
Definitely.
trying, no matter how difficult it is. And
Definitely.
until you find your own sound, because I believe everybody, I've listened to musicians and those who play instruments particularly. I think everybody's got their own sound. They want to sound differently. There's just this one thing that they do with the same keyboard, and there's just this one special thing that they do with that keyboard that is
Yes.
different from the next artist.
Yes. Yes.
No,
Definitely.
yeah, definitely. So
I think if I
yes,
can if I can just comment on that also, I think the beauty of just being a musician and being able to play an instrument means
yeah,
that at a certain point somewhere in your musical career, you get to find your own sound. You
yes,
work with all these different musicians, all these different artists, but at the end of the day, uh, you'll have influences. Probably most likely, you'll have influences from all those people, but
okay,
those influences will help you to solidify your own sound, and you'll be known that, oh, okay, as soon as somebody listens, oh wait, that sounds like Lindy. Oh wait, that sounds like Grace.
yeah, yeah,
So I think that's the beauty of being a musician, just having your own sound, and people recognizing your sound as you. It's like your own trademark, your own signature trademark type of thing. It's really quite a cool thing.
okay. And so let me tell you that you're also receiving blessings and love from all the way from the US. Shanna Maguire, she just sent blessings out to you.
Thank
And
you
thank you
so
for
much.
listening, Shanna. We know that the USA is listening as well. Thank you,
Thank you so much.
listening and watching. All right. So now, um, time flies, and I'm jealous now that we we almost got the end of the hour. So let me ask you, what keeps a young, talented, beautiful musician in the package of Lindin Conello to keep motivated and to wake up every morning and do it over again? Every morning to play the piano, every morning to go out, teach, study, continue to study, even when she has accomplished this much, but to still be studying, to getting to a master's program, and teaching young kids out there at the school. And what keeps you motivated at the end of the day?
Look, I'm not gonna lie. There are days where I don't want to get out of bed. I just want to stay in bed and just sleep all day. I think the biggest thing for me is just knowing that I have just a fraction of an impact on somebody's life, that I've contributed something in the form of, may be music theory knowledge, it may be um, knowledge of the instrument, it may be whatever, but just knowing that I've contributed or I've had an input in somebody's life, and that making a difference in somebody's life, that's the biggest thing for me. That is like more than enough for me to keep me going. It's more than enough motivation for me just keep doing it over and over and over and over again. Just the fact that I've got an impact or an influence on somebody's life.
Beautiful, beautiful, Lindy. And we are grateful to have spent this hour with you. Thank you very much for sharing your life with us. And you know, the one thing that I find inspirational about you in particular is the fact that from a Christian background, you have not let go of that. You have not strayed away from that path, and you are keeping that light shining. You know, you're keeping that light shining, that light of Christianity, to say we can still remain a Christian and still make an impact in life, still be an artist, and still let God shine, let God lead you in your journey, not only in a Christian life journey, but in life entirely. You know, in your everyday decisions, the decisions that you make in terms of where to play, who to play with, which kick to take and which kicks not to take. You know, I'm not sure if that extends to the food that you eat.
I try to. I try to. I try to, you know, when I do my groceries and I buy the food that I buy, I try and keep I don't know, a healthy kind of outlook on that. So I always make sure that I buy veggies. I always make sure I buy fruit, and I'm also very picky about the kind of meat I eat as well. So I pretty much only eat chicken and mince. I do red meat, but like once in a while. But generally, it's chicken and mince. So I try. I really do try.
Definitely. No. Your Christian values come through, you know, and we appreciate that, that your Christian values come through and they shine so much in your life. And I think you live those on a day-to-day basis. So then the last question and the last song from you, the last question is, how do you motivate, what would you like to say to a young person out there, to a young girl watching, to a young girl listening, to a young boy? You know, what would you like to say? What would be your parting shot to those? And then please play us one last song. We're out of time, so please.
Look, what I've seen for me with today's generation is that kids want to skip stages of their lives because they are seeing that this celebrity has got this and this and this. And for me, I'm like, okay, how are you going to get there if you don't go through this current stage that you're at and you go through the next stage after that and the next stage after that to get to where you want to be? So don't rush to get to something that is not meant for you at that time. Because at the right time, there's a verse even in the Bible that says, at the right time, I, the Lord, will make it happen. So don't skip stages. Go through the stages of your life that you're supposed to go through to get to where you need to be. That way you've experienced whatever you've needed to experience for all those years or however long it takes. And you've got the knowledge and you've got the background and you've got the experience that came from all those years to navigate you through the next phase of your life. So just that thing of not skipping stages.
Beautiful. Beautiful message indeed, you know, from an educator, obviously. So please play us one last song, and after that song, then we can say thank you very much for spending the hour with us. We appreciate
it.
And
a pleasure.
God bless.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Great. Please play us one more song.
Sure thing. Okay.
Great is thy faithfulness indeed. Great is thy faithfulness. Thank you, Lindy. Thank you, Lindy. God bless and enjoy the rest of the day. Enjoy the rest of the week. Many blessings upon you.
Thank you so much, Mukwena, for having me. I had a great time. Thank you.
Thank you indeed. Much appreciated. All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
So thanks to all the listeners and all the viewers of Ezekiel Radio. We're going back now to the radio side, and we are ending the broadcast here on Facebook. So the Facebook feed will stop, but the radio feed will continue. All right. Let's meet on the radio feed. Thank you, Lindy. Enjoy.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.